Stellantis, which owns Chrysler and all the brands under the Chrysler umbrella, is moving away from Chrysler. It's kind of leaving it behind.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a long-running issue with this company of making this case years ago that scale above all else was going to win out and was going to be the sort of answer to this industry that was in need of consolidation, but they haven't actually sort of justified that sort of business case that they made. 14 brands is an awful lot of mouths to feed. And here in North America, they don't have quite as vast a portfolio. There are a fair number of European brands that aren't in this market. But Chrysler for some time now has been down to a single model, a minivan. And that's just, not sort of consistent with a brand that, a lot of Americans recognize, but is sort of reflective of this dilemma that they've had of, where do they lay their bets? I think there's some disappointment here in this sort of reaction to this, investor day that they're having, that the company isn't making the sort of tough decisions that they probably needed to make years ago to maybe put some of these brands out to pasture, considering how little they've invested.
What is Stellantis's EV strategy today, and how does that compare it against maybe some of its peers?
In short, they were way behind everybody else. They were trying to catch up, and in retrospect, they made some incredibly wayward bets at the worst moment, sort of at the very end of this transition, that the U.S. industry was attempting under the Biden administration. And in their defense, this has been just all over the place from one administration to the next, where Trump won. He was very sort of anti-EV, drill baby drill. Mm-hmm. Biden comes in. IRA was just this incredible sort of effort, and actually something that got Europe very nervous about. Are all of these EV and battery investments going to go to North America at the expense of Europe for a company like Stellantis? And yet there wasn't a whole lot of progress by the time we had this change in administration and dramatic change in policy that caught companies like Stellantis and Ford in this position of having to take, not just multi-billion-dollar write-downs, but tens of billions of dollars in write-downs or write-offs.
So in a way, being behind maybe helped it because, they're right back to where they were and they don't actually need to have a big lineup of EVs. What kind of investments are they going to make then in the existing Chrysler brands? I mean, you mentioned the minivan. I mean, how many more versions of that minivan can you really focus on?
They are talking about bringing some crossovers to the Chrysler brand, but really sort of focusing on some of their core divisions. I think here it's really Jeep SUVs and Ram pickups, which makes a lot of sense. Americans, even as gas prices are like headed up, we still love our big pickups and SUVs. I do have some questions about whether or not it's so simple of bringing back like the Hemi engine or these diesel models. Even if it is the case that we buy a heck of a lot more of those than EVs, are we going to see some change in buyer patterns as a result of the fact that diesel in particular is really hitting consumers where it hurts in terms of their wallets?
So is EV been just slowed down, the EV conversion in the U.S.? Is it still happening? Where are we with that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case where it's a lot messier than we were expecting just a few years ago, right? And we are seeing sort of indications that in the used market, in part because maybe we overbuilt in terms of thinking that there was more demand than there actually was. You actually have some real sort of bargains in the market for cars that are just a few years old that depreciated quite a bit, and consumers are interested in sort of bargain hunting. Mm-hmm. Does that sort of help with sort of shoring up residual values and help that business case a little bit? Maybe. But until and unless we have indications that policy in Washington is going to be more consistent and there's going to be an emphasis on competing with China in a more head-on and sustained way, I think if you're a manufacturer sort of laying bets for the future, you really have to hedge against this notion that Washington kind of keeps going back and forth in terms of are they into this or not?
Very quickly, do they have any hybrid vehicles?
They do, and I think that's actually something that we're going to see across the industry. That's a sort of natural, bet to make that consumers are maybe going to not go fully electric, but are going to want to save at the pump.